It has been 453 days since now 16-year-old Sebastian Rogers vanished from his home in Hendersonville. His disappearance sparked national headlines, but now his father says the case is losing momentum. With National Missing Children's Day coming up on Sunday, he is raising his voice and demanding urgency. News 2's Caitlin.
I went and talked to neighbors, and every single one of them, every single one, welcomed me. And if they had video surveillance, they gave it to me. The only person that would not talk to me, as the only person that had something to hide and wouldn't talk to me. You know, she has a son that's hiding and waiting for somebody in the dark, late at night on the 25th. And there needs to be some explaining for that. I'll just leave it at that.
That we are going to keep searching, we are going to keep looking, we are going to find him, and we are going to bring him home.
Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said no evidentiary value.
It is of no evidentiary value. It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No,
Why?
because the investigation remains ongoing.
Yeah, I'm working on behalf of Sebastian. I am not, my client is Sebastian, and they're the guardians that have the ability to sign.
It just started. Hi, Dad. I know this is gonna sound weird, but tomorrow's picture day. So could you send some decent clothes over to me so that I can wear the decent clothes and be handsome for my birthday with decent clothes? Mom.
Because our heart is missing. He is my world. I need him. I need him back with me.
Mic check. Oh, there we go. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hold on 1 second here. I had to fix my mic. Okay, let me know if you can hear me in chat. I'm so happy, Geneva. Hopefully that advice helped. Yeah, that's pretty neat. You can change the font size on the phone, and it's not too hard. So hopefully that worked out for you. It sounds like it did. Thank you to everybody tuning in. This is kind of surreal and a little bittersweet because I feel like this is kind of coming to the end as far as, at least on my end, as far as how much we can take Sebastian's case. And here we are about to release the FBI report, of course, release it to the FBI and then to the public. Most of it, which won't need much redaction, just a little bit. And then an extended version for the public, which I kind of had to redo quite a bit, which we'll talk about here in a bit. But please, if you can, hit that like button. We'll kind of show us a little bit of what the report looks like, what you guys can kind of expect. Again, it had to be, I used ChatGPT because I've never done an FBI report. I don't know how many people do in their lifetime. So I thought it would be probably wise to get some advice from ChatGPT on how to kind of structure it. And even though we pretty much had a pretty complete file, it just needed to kind of be stitched together. Once they started feeding it into ChatGPT, it started giving me kind of a different overall view on how it should be structured. So I have literally been working since what feels like Sunday or Monday, nonstop, restructuring it according to how ChatGPT would put something like this together for the FBI. Which, again, we will show if you're just tuning in. But praying this is kind of like the last final swing to get attention for this case, and hopefully maybe uh, potentially the FBI to get maybe more involved and maybe put some pressure on Sumner County and the others like TBI to maybe further investigate. There's so many things, such as new evidence that we can bring to the table, more or less, which we'll start out with. But again, please hit that like button as you're coming in, and thank you to everybody taking the time out of their Friday evening to watch the show. I said before, this will kind of be pretty much at the end of the month. I'll start kind of going to other cases. Of course, Sebastian will always, anything comes out, we'll cover it. But once this report is done, then I'm going to kind of start focusing on other cases because, again, there's just so much to talk about that hasn't, we've covered it 2 years. There's just not much else to kind of go over that hasn't been combed over 1,000 times. Let's see here. I'm just reading chat. So anyway, before I show it, I just wanted to let people come in before I show just like a couple of sneak screenshots that I took of the report, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what it looked like, and then what we'll do for the public, because there'll be 2 versions, one for the FBI and then one for the public, which will be a little bit more open, a little less. Find the right word. Once we get to the screenshots, you'll kind of see what I'm gonna talk about as far as the 2 different versions. But one of the things we can bring to the table, that we discovered back in December, I guess before that of last year, is the cemetery activity, which again, Fish Sticks had this footage, had ample opportunity to release any of this stuff, but to me, it seemed like he was focused more on a narrative of Sebastian getting over to the construction site. But there is so much activity at the cemetery on not only the 25th.
Seen here is another daytime shot, overlaid with nighttime, where you
early morning hours of the 25th, so before they go to, I want to say Costco, where they go to the store, and then Strike and Spare, and then Texas Roadhouse. All this goes on the early morning of that day, which to me looks like some kind of dry run / scouting, whatever you want to call it. And for those that have been here when I was covering all this in October through January,
you can see the memorial.
There's
to the
just
right,
so
and
much.
In the yellow box is where we see headlights from a vehicle.
That
but what's
even
interesting is the fact
as
that
I
the
started
seen at 3:45 a.m.
Sorry, let
has
me
its headlights.
turn that down. Even as we kind of started moving away from it, because I felt like it was kind of getting redundant, even though like I felt like there was more stuff, more lights moving around, but I just couldn't explain all of them. And I didn't want to just go, oh, look, there's a blinking light, without me being able to make sure it wasn't some kind of, because there are street lights, there's school lights that flicker. Sometimes there's wind, and obviously we're looking through multiple tree lines. So any branches that move, there'll be lights that flicker. So you have to discern, figure out what is, just a street light or ambient light or whatever you want to call it, versus something that may be a person or a vehicle or both, obviously. And again, we've got a lot, obviously, the Columbrian being lit up both nights, and then vehicles that are clearly moving. And they're in areas where the road where the little windows that we can see into the cemetery, would be roads such as this part here at the cemetery, which is kind of higher up. And yeah. So I think that'll be good to have at the beginning of the report. Start with the timeline of February 25th. And obviously, that starts with the columbarium and all the vehicles at the cemetery moving around. Again, unless it's just a big strange coincidence that it goes on the 25th and 26th. Never happens on the 23rd. I don't know if I have the 22nd, but it doesn't happen, or I mean on the 24th. I don't have anything before that, but it doesn't happen on the 27th or the 28th. Nothing goes on those days, on the day before or days following, which I've shown a little bit in previous live shows. But 24 hours before he goes missing, you've got all this activity. And then during or just after he goes missing, you have that activity. And then the following days, there's nothing going on in that cemetery. So either, again, you got somebody doing ghost hunting that just happened to be on the perfect nights, which I just doubt, because it's not like his, even though it's a historic cemetery, it's very small. It's not a haunted cemetery or known to be. And the only other thing we've talked about would be like a rug deal, but I don't know why you would do that in the same area twice on back-to-back nights. I think that'd be pretty stupid. So yeah, other than that, and we even got footage from more recent. I'm not gonna say how, but let me think about this. I don't think it'd be an issue. We set up a camera that looked at the cemetery. It wasn't in the cemetery, but it looked at the cemetery. And we watched, and this was more recent when we were doing the whole thing. And it just, it was a trail cam, which we got permission to do. And so we got to see like what's like kind of like the normal activity that goes on and then what goes on at night. And it was typically, and again, this is around the same time of the year when we were doing this, is when he went missing. All we saw on that camera was basically the maintenance guy or groundsfield guy or whatever. He shows up since it's kind of obviously still late winter. So the sun comes up late, goes down early. He gets there like 9:30, and then he's out of there by 4:35. And then maybe you see a car like in between those hours, and then maybe I think a couple times we saw a car show up at like 5 or 6 p.m. When it was just getting just after dark. Other than that, it was pretty much that, and no activity afterwards. I think we caught like one car at the school because you have the stadium that's beyond that, and now they have a road that goes around the stadium. And I think we captured like one or two cars on one of the few nights. Other than that, nothing goes on at that cemetery. It is pretty much dead because it's a tiny cemetery. So anyway, so we had an idea of like what's normal activity for that cemetery and what is not. And the stuff that we see before Sebastian and around the time he goes missing is not normal. Long story short. So we have that. So hopefully with the 25th and the 26th, hopefully that be some kind of new evidence, even though we kind of sent that to him. This will be a full report that has more than just that. And just in theory, if maybe this is hopefully taken seriously and they have access to this footage, maybe they can examine this footage with, I'm sure, much better technology than I have. And maybe, I think even the bigger one, or just as big, is what have they done since we sent this, or when we send this? what can they do to go grab footage from the surrounding areas that may still be available? I know it'll be a long shot, but you know. How many days was that done? Are you referring to the trail cam? I'm not gonna say specifically. I'll keep it vague, but we had it for up there for a while. We had a lot to gauge from. But it was all done, professionally. And again, it was, yeah, I don't want to say too much, but I don't think it's a big issue to reveal that we had a trail cam set up. We had that up for multiple purposes because obviously we were going to have a GPR team go out there and cadaver dogs, and we just wanted to make sure that nothing was going to be tampered with. And so, but yeah, it was up there for quite a bit that we, again, got a good gauge on what happens throughout the day. And again, it's pretty boring. The guy shows up in the morning. You see him maybe a few times throughout the day, his vehicle, and then the day repeats again. He leaves and then rinse and repeat. Did you ask the people who were getting ready to bury, just buried their loved ones, if it was one of their family members driving through? I mean, that's a good question, Tanya. I mean, you'd have to find and contact all of them. Keep in mind, for those that don't know, just like park rules, it's the same thing with cemeteries that, you're only supposed to be on that, in there during daytime hours. Technically you could get a violation for being there after dark. I don't know who's going to visit their loved ones. I could see if we saw them once and they visit their loved ones. And then, on one of those 2 nights, but the fact that you see it on 2 nights back in a row, I mean, it's not impossible, but it just seems, the timing. Again, it's not a big cemetery. It's tiny. Again, I've always meant to count how many graves or get an estimated amount of graves there are. There aren't many compared to, most commercial cemeteries. I guess that would be a question for, the investigators for sure. Hey, Black Girl. Oh, thank you guys. Thank God it's Friday. Yeah. If you can, thank you so much. We get more people in here. Please hit the like button. I'm going to show part of the report here in a bit. I knew people would be slowly filtering in, so I didn't want to show it right away and then have to go over it again. I thought we would just kind of go over it about 5 minutes from now. We'll go over it. And then the other thing to add in with the cemetery is you add in on the 26th the fact that you have. So here's the other thing that you also add in is, so remember, you have the stuff that's on the 25th, with vehicles and the Columbrian being lit up both on the 25th and the 26th. But what's really interesting about the 26th is that you have the vehicles. I might have edited the vehicles out because I didn't want to kind of recache everything, but let me go back right here. Actually, probably just played it as I was reading chat. Let's see. Yeah, it's coming up. The thing that's interesting about the 26th, right? So the morning of his disappearance is you have the vehicles. These ones here, these are ones that are interesting because remember, you have these vehicles at these time. Now, keep in mind, there's 2 ways to look at this. remember, we see a vehicle, when the 30, trying to think of the times, the 3:03 a.m. car, because remember, this is a silver sedan at 2:58 that comes from the cemetery direction. I can't say 100%. I know it comes from the cemetery, but it comes, it comes from that direction. And then it goes up, and then once it's done doing its, in my opinion, scouting, it then goes back towards the cemetery direction, and then literally 3 minutes exactly, or 2 seconds off, then you have another sedan come, and you can definitely tell it's braking. It's going to turn onto Kellen, and again, and then of course you have the 3:03 to 3:07 event. So you have 4 minutes of the whole thing going down with subject 1 and 2, whether Sebastian's being moved or he's already been moved and they're bringing his clothing back, wherever you sit on that. But then you add in all these vehicles that then show up and all the activity that happens about like 15 minutes after all of the stuff that happened, like in Rogers' neighborhood. Then 15 minutes later, you have all the activity at the cemetery going on. And it's like, what are the odds that, like, that happens? Out of all the 24 hours that you could have all these vehicles. And again, like I said, there's more stuff that, like, I've found, such as the one that I was just going to show, this scout we talked about. And this person's on the 25th and the 26th as well. But I can't, it's so far away. Other than it's just, it lights up for a certain amount of time, and it's in the area that's kind of like elevated, as if, like, so I just consider it like a scout. But again, there's a few other things that I've found that, I'm not 100% sure are vehicles or not. So there'd be two questions. Again, new evidence that they could help maybe connect and ask more questions, get more data, surveillance, whatever. Or let's just say maybe these cars have nothing to do with it. Well, you've got at least, like, what? You have at least I'm pretty sure 3 vehicles on the 26th. 2 for sure on the 25th. 2 to 3 on the 26th. And I think I've said this again. Assuming you have at least 1 to 2 passengers, you have anywhere from 3 to 6 plus witnesses that could have seen something the early morning hours of when something went down in Sebastian's neighborhood. So, there's 2 ways to look at that. All right. So, sneak peek. Hit that like button and we'll go over this. I'm going to pause it. I may kick on my AC here. We wouldn't be able to do that, Tanya, and that's a great question. That would be for law enforcement. There would be, like, maybe one thing we could maybe do, but yeah. But no, that will be in the report, and yeah. But I'm glad you remembered that, Tanya, because that's actually really important. But yeah, that would be something law enforcement do. I'm going to turn on my AC, but you guys can see that. Let me go full screen. You guys can kind of read that. This is the first page. It's not the entire thing. But this is kind of like how it's structured. Okay. 1 second here. Let's see. Maybe I'll leave this full page so you can we can kind of read this together so you can kind of get an idea. So this is the first page, and again, this isn't the entire thing. And I'll kind of explain again what I had to do, because I've never put something like this together, and I felt like ChatGPT would kind of have some good advice, and I feel like it probably would know a better way to structure it than I would, because I've never done this. Yes, Sassy, we've had one already. Now keep in mind, I'll kind of explain some of the details. But so again, remember this is kind of like the front page, which I didn't even think about putting, and it's just kind of like a summary of like, and it's like 6 main highlights. You're seeing 3 of them here, and so obviously the surveillance from the church and cemetery going on between the 25th and the 26th, you know, on odd hours, and of course, there appeared to be staging and scouting. And then the next one would be surveillance and footage and observations from Texas Roadhouse on the 25th, involving Katie, Sebastian, and Green Hoodie. Of course, more. And then we go with conflicting accounts regarding surveillance allegedly shown an individual taking the trash can. So we kind of move to him getting home and then going into the 3 a.m. because obviously that's kind of where it goes into. And then one of the final pieces will be Fisher. And I think I mentioned that in my last live. I had asked ChatGPT. It looks professionally maker. I appreciate that. Believe me, one of the reasons I wanted to use ChatGPT, not only just to get, you know, an idea of like how should this be structured, but you know, you can put in, you know, a paragraph or whatever, and then, you know, run it through ChatGPT, and then, you know, I mean, I passed English, but you know, I was more interested in math and other things. And so the nice thing with ChatGPT is, you know, you have a paragraph, a summary, whatever. Nice thing you do is you can throw it into ChatGPT, and then it can kind of like cut it down, right? And then maybe use bigger words with, you know, a shorter paragraph. So then that means that we could put more in, because it claims that you should try to keep it from anywhere from 5 to 15 pages max on a document like this. So that's the first page. Then I'll show you how it's structured. So let me hit play here. Oh, I appreciate that, Beach Gal. This took a lot of time, and this is like, so there's going to be 2 versions, because again, I can't emphasize this enough. I've never done this. I don't know how many people send a document to the FBI and need to have it like want to make sure that it's being taken seriously. So I used, you know, ChatGPT quite a bit on trying to help it structure. And so here is the trash can part, as you can see here. And you'll notice some of the words are in blue, and I'll kind of explain that. But as you can see, you'll have the time, who's involved, and where that's at. And this is the part that is in reference to when they allegedly get home, and whether he actually made it home. And we talk about, you know, the FBI, you know, Katie claims that the FBI cleared this video up and confirmed it was Sebastian, and, you know, made some interesting statements about his mannerisms and the way he runs. And then we kind of finish with how Seth Rogers seen the video. He couldn't tell if it was Sebastian, and how it kind of looked like a black blob with potentially a hoodie. And then we make it, you know, a thing here. Sebastian was not wearing all black, but Katie was last seen wearing darker clothing and a hoodie. And so we have that. And then we have the exhibits here, which when FBI can go reads through this, since this is through Google Docs and be sent to them, obviously they'll be able to look at the exhibits, the evidence, whether it's a photograph, a JPEG, whatever, or a video where we put a clip of Katie literally talking about that thing, which I'll kind of play just for an example. Now, this is where I had to change a lot. And I'm going to be honest, I would say we had it like 70 to 80% done. And so much work, not just me, but wonderful ladies done a lot of stuff putting this together. And after going through ChatGPT and how to word stuff, I had to restructure everything and pretty much had to almost start from scratch. Even the stuff I put in had to be reworded differently. And so the best example is this. So as you can see, after the summary of whatever the event is and then the exhibits, it suggests putting investigative questions. And this is to go, so as you can see, were the floodlights to the garage on or off at the Proudfoot's home when the trash can was moved? Which I think is an interesting question, because if they weren't on, were they potentially off? Because we know they're on when we see the photograph at 5:12 a.m. Next question, why wasn't the Proudfoot's porch light on the 25th? We know the neighbor who owns the Ring camera across the street claimed that it had always been on in the footage that she's seen in the nights prior. And I think there's even a quote. Let me know. I think there's even a quote as well. And I'll continue on. But the reason you put it this way is because how we had it before is, let's say, Texas Roadhouse, where I think we all agree, like Green Hoodie, like the exchange between Green Hoodie. Like I think all of us would probably go, there was a suspicious, if I can speak, there was a suspicious exchange between Katie and Green Hoodie. And was Green Hoodie handed a phone or a device? Well, according to ChatGPT, if you use certain words like suspicious and stuff like that, apparently they won't like that. So you have to kind of word it in, put it into this category here in these investigative questions. So obviously, if I were to show the Texas Roadhouse, which has two parts, it would be worded more generalized, if that makes sense. Because according to ChatGPT, if, say, let's take Yellow Jacket, for instance, if I were to, which we had in there before, forget how it was specifically phrased, but, this individual is seen kind of walking in, and as Katie's coming out, doesn't appear to get food. This individual appears suspicious, potentially could have been handed a phone. Of course, when running that through ChatGPT, it's like, no. How about doing this? Were all the individuals or certain individuals, were individuals seen on camera? And I'm going to reword it even more, a little bit more specific. It gave me a general one, but it basically said, were all individuals that were seen on camera in or around Katie investigated, or and so, and it gives me other things to add in. So that had to be kind of like completely reworked. And I know that there was people in here, they know who they are, worked really hard on this, and I'm just trying to do the best that I can to, according to ChatGPT, on how to like put this together. Because according to ChatGPT, it says if you start pointing out people, like a bunch of people, then They won't take it seriously if you start kind of, you know, being accusatory. That makes sense. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know what I'm saying. Labeling people suspicious. And so it basically suggests more generalizing the questions. That makes sense. So I think what we're going to do is, of course, we'll have the report for the FBI, but once this is finished, and I shit you not, I've been working on it since Monday. My bony ass hurts. My back hurts. It's worth it. It's pretty much like, I mean, it's pretty much done. There's just a few tidbits I want to add in at the end. And then, you know, maybe do like a third go through just to kind of make sure. But then for the public, what I want to do is then the stuff that we kind of trimmed out for the FBI, we want to put that back in for the public. So it'll be kind of like two versions, one for the FBI and then kind of one for the public, where we'll kind of put it in a certain way that, you know, this is what was kind of not in the FBI report, but we feel like this is, you know, if that makes sense. So that's how I want to do it. It's not going to be easy, but again, most of it is done. But yeah, it's been wild, but I feel like this is like 2.5 years of tons of people's hard work, and observations behind the scenes, and then trying to kind of generalize it to where it is palatable for the FBI, according to how the ChatGPT, and I even get asked Google AI as well, like, you know, is this, you know, how you would put something together, and they pretty much kind of had the same suggestions. So that is kind of what you'll see is a summary of the event, you know, and then the investigative questions that go along to that event, you know, and then, you know, the next one, you know, so before that would have been Texas Roadhouse, and then investigative questions, and then after would probably move to the 3M stuff right after that part, if that makes sense. I don't know. Because we don't want to like blow them up, and like what, Michelle, I think, and that's such a great question. I think the bigger thing that we'd want to do is get it all over social media, because we will put it out to the public. You know, we'll do a live on it and go over it and give, you know, some backstory to certain things. And I'm gonna have to, like, since you guys, you know, obviously we can't send links to this thing because it has sensitive stuff in it. I'll have to do like a semi redacted, because there's a few things that'll be like names. And then what I'll have to do to add in the evidence is I'll just have to add everything in order in video form, and then go. So there'll be like the document, and then all this evidence. It'll just be all in order, and then I'll just probably even put the report in the video as well. So it just kind of like, you know, you could either go both, or you could just choose a video and just, you know, I'll have it just kind of scan down and then show that exhibits and then continue on. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Yeah, this is all in the name of Sebastian. Again, like, this isn't for, you know, for anybody's clicks and views. This is just, you know, for Sebastian, right? I think some people forget that, and have to have some kind of drama stirred on whatever. And even though it's like I am so desensitized to that, doing YouTube for 4 or 5 years now, it is just like, you know, just another day at the office for me. But to me, it's like some of the scummery and just stupid drama that just a few individuals are still doing, it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind. Yeah, hopefully I can do that. Again, I'll have both out, but obviously people will need the video because that will have the exhibits, and they'll just be in order. And yeah, that's going to take a long time. So I'll ask. I hate asking, but if you guys would like to support this channel, there's plenty of ways to do so through Venmo, PayPal, or through the chat. But I promise you, these past literally since Monday. I mean, it's been worked on for nearly a year, but for the FBI side of it, it had to be like completely restructured. Even the stuff I had in there, completely restructured. So it was, even though when I said like it was like 70 to 80% done, I literally, even though I had a foundation and basically a timeline, like I had to like completely restructure it. But again, all in the name of Sebastian. And hopefully you guys will see. But here's just kind of like what some of the evidence will look like. So if you guys remember, we just kind of showed if you hover over a certain piece of evidence, and of course we were just talking about the fact that she talked about Sebastian, and more specifically what her claim is about the FBI, I think is very important in my opinion. Oh, we got Lakeside Lawyer. Oh, that's awesome. Good to see you, Lakeside. Hope you're doing well. Good to see some old faces in here. I haven't seen for a while. This is really a culmination for that's been in the works for a long time. But let's play this real quick so I can just quickly grab a drink. Oh, let me turn out the audio.
Side Michael?
Yeah. So, okay, so you guys got...
Do you see the frustration where we have with your client?
Yeah, I do. But it's nice to have like a conversation with you instead of having to get everything, everywhere else. Definitely.
And we went home straight from Texas Roadhouse. And we were home for approximately 15 minutes before he took the trash out. And he is on video, and the FBI was able to clear it up and confirm that it's him. Even though you can tell it's him from a mile away because of how he runs, it's just, you can tell from his mannerisms. The second you look at it, it's him running, but still.
So he took the trash about 15 minutes, and that was about what time was that?
Don't know exactly off the top of our head.
And that right there, the fact that she literally just referenced watching surveillance footage. I know we've gone over this before. And then turn around and, of course, Chris, being no surprise there, jumps in, says, we don't know off the top of our heads, but, we just referenced a video that would have had a proper timestamp on it. And then this is that Ring camera, that you would click on. And again, one question would be, so again, this camera, let me answer this. Andrea, anything new? Like, as far as the case in general, no. But the FBI report that we've been working on is coming out. I'm not sure which day, but next week. And then second, it gets sent to the FBI. We have the green light to release to the public. So, and there will be some interesting information. Most of it, I think you guys will know, but I think the way it's structured, I think you guys will find interesting. And then, of course, I'll have the non-FBI version where we can be a little more open and less general, if that makes sense. Because again, I was just trying to be I don't know if professional is the right word. Again, just trying to use the advice of ChatGPT on how to structure it. Thank you, Show Poodles. Thank you so much. It helps so much. Considering this case is really, there's nothing else that we haven't gone over a million times. And, part of the reason I'm doing this live is just to kind of show you guys like an update on the report, because I'm sure there'll be certain channels that, one or two that may, because they love drama, say, this report isn't coming out or whatever, and of course the bigger picture is Sebastian. And yeah, there's something else I was going to say. Geneva, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much. It helps. Get a job offer. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Some of this is from the exhibits that you're seeing, and there's some other things. And one of the very interesting things that I found very tantalizing and excited for, that I didn't think wasn't sure to add in. Like, I thought maybe adding a few things in, but, and I think I mentioned this in my other live, is in regards to fish sticks. And we'll get to him a little bit later, because I do have a section for him. But I asked ChatGPT, and I gave it, references on like some of this really shitty stuff that he did. And I kind of put it in there and asked ChatGPT, would this be something relevant for the FBI? And it said yes. So, and again, of course, the entire report's not fish sticks, but he will be kind of one of the main highlights at the end, which there is some stuff. Most of the stuff you guys know, but yeah, because of his actions, certain things happened. And to kind of keep his name going through this weekend and into next week before we release it, there may be a video shown, it's not very long, of a particular individual that you guys will be familiar with. And yeah, it pertains to Fisher, and in my personal opinion, an individual that I think could be a person that, if law enforcement went back to and spoke to, could maybe crack and like break this case open, in my opinion. Again, I'm sorry for being vague, but I don't want to give too much until the report comes out. But we will show that video sometime soon. Have to get the okay and everything. But we have the okay, but I just want to make sure I don't do anything without our team's knowledge, because this has always been a team effort, even though it seems like I'm kind of like the face or avatar for the group. Again, I am working off the back of giants, and it's very, very determined individuals. You guys know I'm tenacious. These people are just as tenacious as me, if not more. And yeah. Michelle, thank you so much for the $1.99. I appreciate that. Lakeside, so good to see you. May God bless your diligence. I appreciate that. Man, I had a question for you the other day. Hopefully, maybe I can think of it. If you guys have questions, please put them in the chat. I'm just kind of showing a little bit of some of the exhibits. Again, they're kind of just very edited down to, it just kind of depends on the exhibit. Some are just photos, some are, with green hoodie, trying to relay that, did they ever notice that this person walked off to the left, where, in my opinion, they could have met up with somebody. Of course, I had to word that in a very general way. But again, the other thing, this to me, like, if this investigation was done right, in my opinion, allegedly, in the beginning, and if they weren't believing the family so closely in the beginning, they would have grabbed all the footage around the home and neighborhoods. I mean, I know they grabbed the neighborhoods, but Long Haul Pike, the school. I think they got the school, but a wider range. And then the big thing is if they could not prove 100% in the beginning that was Sebastian taking out the trash, I think that immediately they should have been grabbing everything in and around Texas Roadhouse, all of the different routes that Katie could have taken home, and all of the intersections. I mean, they should have scoured intel, surveillance, witness statements. I mean, surveillance is going to be, 2 years later. I hate to say it, that's going to not be on our side, but maybe witness statements, they could still go back and maybe find some individuals that are in the video that they could go back and question. There's one other thing I was going to add to the Texas Roadhouse. Oh, geofencing. And I forgot to grab this audio clip. There's an audio clip of Steve Fisher saying, "Oh, they did geofencing." I'm pretty sure he said geofencing. I know he said Cellubrite and all those things with the devices, all the different programs they use for cell phones, Apple Watch, whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong in chat. Didn't he say geofencing as well? Maybe I'm wrong on that. Thank you, Kiki. I appreciate that. There goes the silver sedan. I agree, Tanya, and I think really one of the things that covering true crime, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, and I've said this before, you hear about where a case goes cold, and then a new team comes along, maybe from the same department, and a fresh set of eyes is all it takes. And then bam, they go over something they overlooked, or they follow up on an individual, that should have been followed up earlier on. Maybe it wasn't questioned thoroughly, so many avenues. Angel Light, thanks so much, Chris. Thank you guys so much. Again, I hate asking or begging, grifting. I only ask because I promise you I am going to deliver, because I was what's the right word? I had the privilege to be in charge of doing the report. And again, with so many people's other work that was put into this, and it was not fun to have to redo everybody's stuff. And of course, for the FBI, I have to delete a lot of stuff. But I made sure, like when you guys will see it, like at least for the FBI portion, like I made sure like everything's like worded just right. Again, it can't be perfect, but much better than how I would have worded particular stuff anyway. But then again, like I said, there will be a version that goes out to the public that has a more open interpretation. Things that were left on the cutting room that I think a lot of people would agree that should be in there, but ChatGPT felt like it might be too accusatory, that they would get disinterested. Again, ChatGPT, it's words, not mine. Krista, I love your whole tenacious persistence crew. Yes, and I'm so glad you said crew, because I know you guys see the face of me, but there are those individuals that they're, as we speak, are working on a potential interesting lead. And again, there's always sometimes leads behind the scenes going on, but sometimes they don't pan out, and they're not really worth mentioning because it doesn't go anywhere. But we'll see what happens. Jennifer, good to see you, sweetheart. Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday, party people. Mods, you are amazing. I do have the best mods. No, please, and no one. Yes. If you can, please do not worry about feeling sorry. I just want to make sure I can deliver with being able to take the amount of days off that I have. I'm pretty much done, so I'll be able to go live a little bit more. But and if you missed it a little bit earlier, I'll show a part of it again if you're coming in late on what it kind of looked like. Do FBI release old solved case documents to the public? Oh yeah. If it's solved, not just FBI, just whoever's, because sometimes FBI is working, with a certain department, so or county, however you want to put it. So yeah, that happens all the time. Yeah, then you just do FOIA requests. So yeah, if it's solved, then yes, you would be able to get most of the documents. I'm sure some of it would be redacted. I guess it just kind of depends. But yeah, I mean, people base their channels off that stuff, where they go through old cases and get like body cam footage and such. I don't know if they can take over the case, but if we could get like maybe a neighboring county to a PI would really take over, because I just can't help myself but reference the Dylan Rounds case every time, because that's all it took was just another county, a neighboring county, to take it over, or just another. Again, this is a little out of my area expertise, but somebody that's not Sumner County takes over, and that is more willing to work with the FBI and not have to like worry about who's getting the credit. Then in the past, it shows that it's very helpful when you're working with the FBI and you're sharing stuff back and forth. It's amazing when you have more people, more eyes, and then of course you have the resources like the FBI, who I'm sure have amazing resources. Yeah, I'll show an example, Tanya, and then when the report comes out, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. Because yeah,
this image
I'll mention
snap from the 3M video had a
what do we got? We got over 300 people in here. Joel, let's see. Hold on. Yeah, that's like usually it's unless so I guess it depends. So and I guess maybe Lakeside, if Lakeside's still in here, if they can find evidence that it went across states or a couple other, obviously there's a bunch of other ones, but yeah, if it falls into, again, like there's evidence that they find that he's moved across states, then yeah, FBI has the jurisdiction to take it over. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chet, but yeah, like if they find evidence that there is like that criteria, or I know there's many others, that's the first one that comes to the top of my head. If state lines are crossed, then the FBI, isn't it now that they can take it over, or at the very least now play a more pivotal role? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, makes it federal. And I'm sure I know there's other ones too, right? If something happened on federal land, like out of a government building or something, they could take it over as well. So yeah, what if because again, when I started this case and just going with statistics, I did not think it was looking good for Sebastian. And after these 2 years, I do not think he made it home. And I'll be honest, I would say definitely now more than ever, I have a high hope that he could still be out there. I really do. And if that's the case, I'm pretty sure he was probably moved across state lines. And if somehow they could find that piece of evidence and then FBI, yeah, then, oh my God, that would just be dominoes following. And I'm sure Katie, I gotta be careful what I say. I'm sure some mugshots would be coming soon after that, in my opinion. I don't know. Or at least people booked in for questioning. So yeah, before I go to the last part of what I'm gonna have, so just in case if you missed it, I'll show it one more time, and then I'll talk about kind of the end part of the report, and I'll kind of lead off with the cliffhanger that something that we're gonna release. It'll be a short little video, but again, I'm not gonna give too much context to, but I'll give you a little something. But like I think he's out there. More than ever, I definitely think he was moved. I don't think. I mean, there's real good possibility he's still alive. Yeah, if they could, yeah, and of course, they'd have to prove that. But yeah, what if they found video evidence of, what if these? Let's just say, in theory, the gas station, where Katie was seen with another SUV. Like, what if they went back and grabbed that footage, and maybe they see these vehicles drive off to a neighboring neighborhood. Oh, jeez. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. You get what I'm saying. And yeah, they find some surveillance that could show that he was moved into another vehicle right there. That would be kidnapping, right? I don't know. I guess it depends on the circumstance. I guess that's kind of open to interpretation. So anyway, if you missed the first part, I'll just go over it just a little bit quicker. But this is, according to ChatGPT, going over the first page, which is kind of like a short summary of what's going to be in the document. This isn't the entire thing. I just took a close screenshot. But mainly, most of this just takes place between February 25th and 26th, even though we have a lot of stuff that predates and postdates that stuff that is technically in here. The bulk of the report, at least the timeline is those 2 days. And then, of course, the cemetery, Texas Roadhouse, and then we get into basically the 3 a.m. stuff. And then, more. And then, oops, wow, that goes fast. Sorry. And then here's an example just for anybody that missed it. Just one more time. Let me back this up before I show the. I don't know if the FBI did, and that's a great question because that is one of the questions in here. It's kind of presented, but here for anybody again, as you can see, 5 of 14. So right now 14 pages according to ChatGPT. It should be at the very least 5 pages and no longer 15 pages is the kind of the target. And so right now I've got 14. Again, if you're coming in late, I did have to rebuild this from the ground up, going off using ChatGPT. And so, you kind of have the time and who's involved and then where that happened. This particular one is involved with the when Katie gets home. And this is, I think, very pivotal because this is kind of like if he's not confirmed to be on that Ring camera, like according to Katie, she says that they cleared it up. And according to her, it's like no question it's him. But yet when Seth saw it, he couldn't tell who it was, and it looked like a black blob to him. Sorry. Let me just let this play. I should have made this part longer. And then anybody that's, again, first seeing this for the first time, in the blue is so you can see exhibit. So there would be, 5:30, right? Just after 5 p.m. would be Texas Roadhouse, the address, and then summary of what's going on. There's 2 parts to that one. And then I would have exhibits of the stuff that we felt is relevant. And then instead of what we had before is we would, and this is kind of what we had before because I think somebody asked this earlier. What we had before is kind of like, so the Texas Roadhouse, we kind of had like, Katie arrives, the Sebastian, she takes some photos. And then I'll just kind of skip to the end. Green Hoodie shows up and there's kind of an exchange. We believe that, they could exchange devices and such and such. And then when I ran through that chat GPT, it said, no, don't use these kind of words. Instead, put a short summary of what's in the video that's factual, and then put a part after that that's basically these investigative questions. And then, it would be like, was Katie ever asked about having one or more devices when she went to Texas Roadhouse? Were all devices accounted for? Was data, Cellubrite, geofencing done in this area? Were all individuals that were caught on their surveillance looked into, questioned? Have they been followed up on? And of course, Green Hoodie, which is kind of why there's kind of 2 parts to the Texas Roadhouse, would be like, same thing with Green Hoodie. Like, it's claimed that, Green Hoodie was questioned, but if so, were they followed up on? Were they actually cleared? Stuff like that. And then kind of same thing where the devices that Green Hoodie, were they checked in, were they investigated? And then of course the stuff that Green Hoodie does after, which is, where they, again, I know some people may think it's a man. Did they ever investigate, who Green Hoodie interacts with? Did they ever know about this? Did Sumner County share this information with them? I mean, I don't ever put Sumner County, but I'm just like generalizing, but if that makes sense. And so that's how they kind of like ChatGPT has me putting those questions that you would put in the that we originally had in the summary, and instead of being a little more straightforward about suspicious individuals, it's more kind of generalized in that form. Well, actually, I don't, Liberty, I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I think part of that is true, but actually, no, because Katie's referenced the FBI looking into stuff, so I don't know. See, that's another thing is like, what did Sumner County share with them, and what didn't they share with them? So that's the thing is like, maybe Sumner County looked at some of the tech,
was
but
last seen.
What about if the FBI took that data? What could they do? What resources did they have if they were giving this material, right? So, I think we could all agree with that. So again, some of this is kind of the parts of the exhibits, and of course, we've gone over this a bunch, so I'm not gonna kind of keep recapping it. But the last, I hope you. Oh yeah. Well, I think you saw there in the in some of the screenshots of it. Yeah, it is. I think it could play a role in it for sure. Yeah, because he just seemed like a nice, upfront guy, Summerford, Sonny. His last name and his first and last name I want to combine because it's my dyslexia. But yeah, I do wonder what kind of case it would be if something didn't happen to him. Is there speculation that with him passing away that like there wasn't structure, and then some people think, there's nefarious reasons of his passing, and Sheriff Craddock, which again, with this case, nothing would surprise me. Yes, Cajun Navy was pretty much ran off, and again, they were onto some interesting leads, which actually kind of like what I'm showing here, not the back part, but the front part, the door. Yeah, they were, like I said. So one of the things, just from the little experience I've had, is when somebody like Cajun Navy or what's the other one from Texas? Shame on me. I've got so many things rattling in my head because I've got some questions for people, so I'm trying to do a bunch of things in my head. But yeah, when you have those kind of agencies, especially those kind of big ones come in, Cajun Navy, and one of the things they want to do is they want to kind of Sunny Weatherford. Thank you. I don't know why I want to like put those two words together. Like, anyway, like United Cajun Navy and other nonprofits like them, when they come in, they almost kind of do the same thing any like PI would do, because they want to know like because they're going to spend a bunch of resources, right? KG Navy, obviously they're going to bring in boats, and of course they're doing it on their dime and every EquiSearch. Thank you. Gosh, shame on me. Just a lot rattling in my brain right now. When they come in, because I worked with Texas EquiSearch and I seen this firsthand. When we came on the Dylan Rounds case, well, they were working with the mother, so they, the mother was very straightforward. Where this case is very not really that case. But yeah, they asked, just like a PI would, they would investigate. Like, they're not just going to go start jumping in wherever maybe Katie or Chris says to go look, like, oh, they have a hunch here or something. They need, some kind of evidence or, something that's got some substance to it that's going to, make it worth their time to go, put somebody else, not a million, but, pretty much thousands of other missing children's cases online for their case. They want to make sure they make it worth their time, and because it's on their dime, that when they do this, they do some investigation as well. And I can guarantee you, when they started investigating, boy, they got ran off real quick because they started asking questions that apparently they didn't want to answer or what have you. I think anybody, I mean, again, this is one of those few cases, if ever, where people were threatened. It just bonkers. Yeah, Narc Divers. I mean, he got the runaround. Remember, like, you showed that video, like, with him talking with Chris, and then, I don't know if you guys know, they took that video down not too long. I'm not sure how much longer, but they took that video down because, I'm sure, like, after they went to go, like, use their equipment, try to figure out what would be the best place to look for them with their skill set and equipment. They started probably, and here's the other thing I've heard is, especially those bigger foundations. So Uvalde, take Uvalde for example. Remember, Uvalde came in very late. Like, it felt like a year later almost. Of course, you had Cajun Navy. And here's the other thing is, some of these agencies speak with each other too, kind of, especially because they know how much, they're, spending, their own dime on these things and time and money. And of course, you have all these other missing person cases. And so they speak with each other, and I'm sure they kind of give a hint like, hey, like, this case, like, it's, you're better off searching somebody else because you're not, like, the answers you need from certain individuals you're not going to get. And so you're just going to be probably searching something that's already been searched, or you're just going to be, running around with your head cut off. The audio. I know people brought that up before. So, in reference to that, and you guys know me, like, I give it to you guys straight. The audio you referenced to from Justin, okay, I researched it. It came from a particular YouTuber. I can't think of the name, and if you do, don't put it in chat because it's irrelevant. You won't find it. They put it as members only, and then they probably took that off as well. So I found the Justin, I found his, and then I found where he got it from because I wanted to make sure when I got this audio, I wanted to make sure I got it from, as original a source as I can, because every time, you re-upload an audio, especially if it's being sent, it starts to lose its quality, just like the video. So it took me to a lady. And again, if you know in chat, please don't put it because it's, to me, It's not worth it. And I noticed that it was a members only, which before it wasn't, because it was a live that they had done and they played the audio. And so I became a member of her channel so I could go grab the audio because I wanted to have as close to the original as I could. And then the second I did that, I got an email from that person, and I'd done one video saying like, look, like, I'm trying to get this audio, and I'm telling you guys, like, from what they're saying, where it was coming from. So if you don't know, here's the issue with the audio. And again, I could just lie to you guys and, just claim the audio is real and have something to talk about, but they claim the audio. They claim the audio came from the infamous 3M 101 Stafford Court home. The issue with that is this camera does not have an audio system. And that's what I was told where it came from. And so I did 2 different lives on it. One where I was talking about getting the audio and what I heard about it. And then I got the audio, I played it, and then I did something behind the scenes, like trying to listen for it. And long story short, right after I did that and saying, I don't think it's real, the particular lady that had originally source came from, like, freaked out, was like, I don't want to get too much into it, but like, she was freaking out, and it was super sus. Like, it was like, I'm going to flag your video. Like, please don't do this. I'm under stress. I can't take this, even though, like, I wasn't really naming her channel or anything. Like, I just kept kind of referencing Justin. And anyway, long story short, I don't think it's real. At least that one. There could be audio. I mean, there is audio. I don't know of Chris and Katie. There could be. But all I know is, long story short, is when I found where the source came from, that person went super sketch, and like, holy cow. Like, I exchanged like what felt like 15, 20 emails between me and her, and within like an hour, because it was like, she was just like, oh my God, and that was just like, okay, that's, yeah. I don't know. To me, that's sus. If that was like a legit thing, why would you be acting like that? So, sorry, that was long-winded. I don't know if you consider it whispering, like it was kicked up. And to me, I think it's like white noise where, and again, I don't know where the audio originated from. So it could have been like audio taken from whatever surveillance, and there was like talking in it. But again, but it could have came from like another case or from that person's home. God knows, like I couldn't get an answer. And then I just got a bunch of like that person freaking out and like threats, and it was just a nightmare. I'm like, okay, I got the clue. I already had red flags before going into it and was told this wasn't real. And then I'm like, I'm going to make sure, because you never know. And yeah, I do think there still could be audio out there of them, though, because there are other cameras that are nearby, but those have not been out in the public. I don't even think Fisher got those. I won't say what house, but I think those cameras would have audio. But yeah, those particular cameras have not been like out in the public. So, unless, of course, you knew the family. Okay, here's the last thing I'll end with. And thank you to everybody that's donated. And thank you to Michelle for the PayPal. Thank you so much. Really, really helps because this has been such a sorry. And thank you, Lori, for the PayPal as well. I slowly get them in, and sometimes I'll probably get them after. So the last part I told you guys is fish sticks. And oh wait, hold on. I do have some questions for chat too. While we're in here. God, if I can read my handwriting. Does anybody remember, was there any mention? So we know the Proudfoots did some, they showed up on Illuminati and really Queen Bee after, and I'm really referencing like late 2025, I guess mid to late 2025. We know kind of like the last real thing that ever happened was Katie going on what's that lady for the 2-year anniversary, and I think that's been it. I think they've been absolutely silent since then. But if anybody knows in chat, let me know if there's any audio of them on any of those interviews. Because remember, Queen Bee and Illuminati, they do those 5 to 8 hour live shows. I don't know how they do it. Again, I'm not shaming anybody. Everybody has their, if people are interested and they've got people, in chat, then who am I to say different? I'm just wondering if the stink bee ever referenced Fisher and his behavior. If anybody knows in chat. I don't think so, but if anybody knows, and could give me any clips, basically what I'm trying to get at is his behavior, because remember, fish sticks is an extension of the Proud Feet. And here's something from ChatGPT that I pulled up. And this one, there's two things. This one's very interesting. If you chat GPT and you ask, like, so I gave it, some of the stuff that Fisher did, right? One of them is, accused Bobby and her sons of doing stuff. Remember the whole cat thing, which is absolutely ridiculous, claiming that, her son has explaining to do, and then went as far as to put out a video. And in my opinion, allegedly, I believe that's cyberbullying. And keep in mind, let me just go back before I read some of this off. And maybe I'll go full screen for a second so you guys can read this. Oh, okay. For sure. Oh, what behavior exactly by Fisher? So I'm just wondering if they ever referenced Fisher really at all in the kind of, because I know like around the 1-year anniversary, which is kind of like after he was let go, or he was let go in like February or March allegedly, although he ended up putting out a report nearly a year later, although it was done in 2025 on around the 1st-year anniversary. I was just wondering if there's any audio of them. Like, it'd be interesting if they said, we appreciated Fisher's work or anything about Fisher. The reason I ask, and this is what I'm going to get to, is because, again, his tactics, and remember the way he, he's a PI, but typically most PIs, if not all, and as you will see here in a minute, don't post stuff in their investigation publicly. But Fisher was the complete opposite. And again, this is evidence, in my opinion, Just look, of course, we know he's just all over Twitter. He's got 42K followers. And we know, and I asked ChatGPT, and I already kind of knew what it was going to say. Wasn't surprised. And let me go full screen so you can kind of read this. But this is what ChatGPT, because I kind of said, like, hey, this is what he did. Is this common for a PI to do this? And of course it said no. What is less typical, a PI is often conducts interviews, reviews surveillance, follows up on leads. Less typical, repeatedly making public factual assertions that later prove inaccurate, which is like just about 90% of fish sticks. Publicly accusing private citizens of involvement without clear evidence. Releasing edited images that materially affect how evidence is perceived. Publicly identifying or implying suspicion towards neighbors or witnesses in a manner that causes them to feel threatened or harassed, which that will lead into my cliffhanger at the end of the video. Because boy, did that get really wild. And what they're technically supposed to do is preserve witness cooperation, avoid contaminating or witness recollections, if I can speak, avoiding unnecessary identifying uninvolved individuals, avoiding public statements that could discourage witnesses from coming forward. Well, we could go on. And so, of course, part of this will be in the report in its own way, but this was done strategically, right? Like, and I think we all kind of already know this, right? It's nothing like new, but I guess threatening searchers weren't enough. Not saying that, accusing in a particular individual, but I think we could have a pretty good guess on who would be the culprits behind that. But if that wasn't enough, then you have Fisher coming around and literally altering evidence, in my opinion. Claiming certain, him and saying that the 3M video takes place at 5:10 a.m. We know that's not true. We actually have like statements, witness statements, with other witnesses nearby, from the actual homeowner himself, saying like, yeah, this happened around 3 a.m. and yeah, there was a car sitting right across from this tree near my driveway. And then going to, if you guys remember, this is one of his finer works, negated towards me and Bobby, because I guess Bobby's my only source, is that if you remember, this is when I was calling him out for a bunch of things, and I was starting to get like the actual evidence. This was kind of right after the 1 year anniversary con, and of course I'll never let that go. And I was showing like how stupid it was, like that he was trying to say that there was a second person, yada yada yada, and he's referencing that here. And then remember, not only did he talk about her son and her son being involved, this is well after all of that, that he says, let me go a little bit further here. If you recall, let me be clear, there's more. There's additional suspicious activity. Remember, this is after all of him saying about Bobby and the son. There's more. He says there's even more that took place later that night. So go ahead, Mob Crew and Bobby, press us. Call us liars again, you fucking liar. Sorry, Cam. So then we'll discuss the search that took place at the son's girlfriend's house. That never happened. And again, God bless Fish Sticks, because he is the gift that keeps on giving. Because again, he is publicly posting stuff. As now, I don't know at this time if he's an active member of being hired as the PI at this time. I have to go back and look. But the fact that he's still doing this, I think it would be great for law enforcement. Again, I can't bring every single thing up, but we can kind of wrap it in a bow, put it into a category with a section with his greatest hits, and then we can kind of reference some of these wonderful things that he did, according to him, in the name of Sebastian. Oh, thank you so much, Samantha. All right, anybody? So questions on?
I don't know if we've got too much information, but the flashlight stuff was very interesting.
So before I play this, if anybody has questions, let me know in chat so I can read some out. And
listen, like I said, I've got over 100 hours of surveillance footage now from that neighborhood, and that's because I went and talked to neighbors, and every single one of them, every single one, welcomed me. And if they had video surveillance, they gave it to me. The only person that would not talk to me is Bobby. As the only person that had something to hide and wouldn't talk to me. So I didn't bully anybody. Nobody asked me to leave. I didn't, there were some past 10 months, law enforcement has not arrested or indicted anybody because they don't have anything. It would have been done by now, right? So let's be realistic about that. We don't know what happened to Sebastian, but there's absolutely no bio evidence. There's no video evidence of a crime. There's nothing. But she came out and said that they had killed their own son. And
again, I'd have to go listen to that. I don't know if that'll be relevant enough to put in, because I can only put so much in. But you're talking about the car that showed up at 3:30. You're talking about the Uber car. No, I can't release that because, again, I've shown a lot of footage that comes from that guy's home that we've had the privilege to show. And I'll be honest, when Fisher put out image, when he tried to use it for the 1 year anniversary, this guy was not happy. And of course, the whole Uber driver thing involves, that car pulling up into his driveway and him, the homeowner getting in. And of course, I can't show that because that would just be absolutely very rude. But no, the car shows up just like it was claimed and talked about well before we even seen the video of it. And that car shows up and leaves, and it's accounted for. And remember, it's 3:30, and after that, there's nothing that really goes on. I do think maybe, I guess the question would be, the Uber driver, be curious if they ever asked him any questions. Actually, I'm kind of glad you brought that up. Maybe I'll put that in the report. Because, he did kind of show up right after the 3 a.m. stuff. And then, I think they move over to the cemetery to do whatever. And then go and whatever. Most people do. And most people are super grateful for it. So yeah, I don't know if it'll be this week. Aim for this weekend. Maybe something to just keep his case going till this gets released. Is something that happened that I think really stems from all the BS that Fish Sticks did, that it led to people feeling unsafe, and that resulting in somebody to kind of check in on Bobby and her family. Because, remember, Fish Sticks has this big following. I don't know, big, but he's got a pretty, decent sized following. And he's always on Twitter. And of course, all of his stuff is tweeted out. All of this really really, all these things he's saying about the son and the mother, potentially being involved, that they felt for their safety, and then they ended up doing something, and a particular individual shows up, and that's on him for the way he acts. And so that'll something that, again, it's not very long, but I think the team feels like that should be released, because I think it'll get people talking a little bit before we release this, and it'll show, because I think there's this couple of individuals, but I think there's one in particular, myself, that I believe, if brought in question and could be brought in and actually pressed on, could maybe crack and maybe, I don't know, lead to the next domino falling. Scranton Strangler. Good to see you. Thank you for keeping Sebastian's name out there just for Sebastian. 2 years too long. Thanks for all you do, Chris. Thank you so much. Again, I know everybody's kind of moving on to other cases. I will as well, because I'll be honest, I will never stop covering Sebastian, but at this point, once this report comes out, I'm going to kind of move on. Like I said, if anything comes out with Sebastian, of course, we will cover it. But I honestly, in some ways, I'm going to feel kind of relieved to be able to move on, just to kind of take a break, because, again, I don't know what else to really put together for a live where I'm just not regurgitating the same stuff, and I don't like doing that, because I feel like your guys' time is worth something, and I want to have something that's worth your guys' time, and we're just at that point. So I was hoping maybe the report would be done this week, but as most of you guys have been in here now know, that after running it through ChatGPT, I had to rebuild it from the ground up, and it was no easy feat. It has been 72-hour plus. I mean, not straight, of course, but just my bony ass hurts, my back hurts. I'll live. It is pretty much done, and then still need to. It's been proofread by one of our leaders. Kind of the draft, but yeah. You can send it to me, Bo, and I'll tell you if you want to send it to me, Bo. If you got a second to send it to me, and I'll tell you if it's the one that I found. I'm sure I kept the one that I found from that person. Actually, I know I did, just in case, but I mean, again, I think most of you guys know me. It's I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to, it's just like the Ruckus video, with the 3M Ruckus video, I could easily jump on that and make it look like a bunch of people are moving around, fighting and stuff, when it's really somebody zoomed in on some floodlights, super duper zoomed in and jacked up the brightness to make these shadow. Yeah, just yeah. Thank you for the 8 months knowing Samantha. Uh, he is marrying him for the report. When you see the report, I think you'll understand. Remember his, because you got to remember he is an extension of the Proud Feet, and that's why I was asking people, yeah, have you guys heard of anything about, the Proud Feet's done a bunch of shows after all of this stuff. Did they ever go, man, we regret hiring fish sticks. We don't condone his behavior for what he did with Bobby. That's why I'm trying to get at, if that makes sense, because if they, had ample opportunity on a bunch of lives to go, hey, we did not appreciate how he conducted himself here, or accused this person, or misled or altered evidence. We did not appreciate that. If they didn't say anything like that, then in my opinion, and let me know what you think in chat, that shows, remember, at the time he's hired, he's an extension of them. Like, so to me, it's like them, like, that is them, Happy to help the cause. Thank you so much, Donna. I appreciate that. God bless you. No, you're not wrong, Bo. For sure. I think there's just a few out there that, I don't know what it is. Like, just some thrive on drama. I just don't. I don't know. I can't do it. Okay, I'll take a look at it and I'll tell you in 2 seconds if it's the one. Whoa. Wait, hold on, guys. This is kind of interesting. Bo, let's see. Did I get yours? Did it go in junk? Bo, did you email me at join the mob crew? But I do have something interesting. Don't go anywhere yet. Hold on. This is interesting. I don't see anything in the junk. Okay, I am going to pull this up. Copy link. Man, maybe this is a good time to piggyback off this. Afton Ben calls for federal investigation into tennis. Holy shit. Okay, let's play this report real quick. What the hell? Okay. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with psychics and tarot. Like, if people are into that, I have no. Oh, you haven't said. Okay. All right. Sorry, but I thought you. My last. Okay. Let's read this because this is relevant in multiple scenarios. Let's play this. I just got sent this. And this is today's day. I'll go full screen. This is interesting. Man, this might be a good time to piggyback off this. Oh, thank you, kitty catty. Oh, that rolls off the tongue. Kitty catty. Okay, let's play this. I'm going to get an ad, aren't I?
Fox 17's Military Appreciation, sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law, wants to honor our veterans with recognition for their service and a check for $1,000.
I respect that.
Send your nominations to bartdurham.com. Fox 17's Military Appreciation, sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
Developing news tonight involving the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. After decades of documented issues, a state representative from Nashville is now asking federal officials to launch a sweeping investigation into DCS. State Rep Afton Bain of Nashville says that she submitted 14 different civil rights complaints.
Is Lakeside Lawyer still in here? God, I hope they are. Oh, they are. Oh, good. Oh, good. Curious to get your thoughts on this. I'm going to read the thing. I am Afton Ben, member of Tennessee House of Representatives, Nashville. I write to transmit to this office a collection of 14 civil rights complaints filed by Tennessee families regarding DCS, Department of Child Services. These complaints were prepared through legislative office in coordination with relevant stakeholders and are submitted together as part of the Children Over Checks, I'm sorry, I said cheeks, accountability campaign, which I have led in response to mounting evidence of systemic civil rights failures within Tennessee's federally funded child welfare system. Holy shit. Okay.
To the U.S. Department
Sorry. God dang it. Gosh darn it. Sorry.
of Health and Human Services. Fox 17 News' Hope Salmon live now at DCS headquarters in Metro Center with more on these claims.
Representative Afton Bain tells me that these cases span counties throughout Tennessee, and she says that these families tell her that they've exhausted every way for help. Representative Afton Bain says the 14 civil rights complaints document a series of reported failures, including denial of services for children with disabilities, retaliation against parents and foster families who file complaints, and the falsification of case records.
No shit. Boy, have we heard that before? What?
Really seeing a systemic type of corruption within DCS that needs to be intervened by the federal government.
The letter also details allegations the agency removed some children.
Oh, I can even see some of the documents. I'll play this and then maybe I'll take some screenshots, see if there's any relevant, because I can see some of the documents. I don't know, maybe we can pull the document. I'm not sure.
From their homes without proper legal procedures, and multiple children were sexually assaulted while in DCS certified placements.
Jeez.
The lawmakers request references a 2024 federal decision that found Tennessee DCS failed to meet key child welfare requirements related to placement stability. Bain is asking federal officials to investigate whether DCS is complying with federal civil rights laws, including protections for people with disabilities and prohibitions against discrimination based on race or national origin.
Are you going to reform DCS? Are you going to fire Commissioner Quinn and hold DCS accountable? And so we look forward to working with these families for the next few months.
Fox 17 reached out to the governor's office and DCS for comment and response to the complaint. In the past, a DCS spokesperson said the department cannot comment on specific cases involving children, but said the agency takes the safety and well-being of children seriously and cooperates with all oversight agencies. And tomorrow, Fox 17 News will be talking to some of those families impacted by these claims, and you can follow along on our website for all of that information. I'm reporting live in Nashville. I'm Hope Sound.
Yeah, I doubt, obviously, Sebastian's case is, because what they say, 15 cases in this particular one, I think they referenced, at least in this document.
Decades of documented issues. A state representative from Nashville is now asking federal officials to launch a sweeping investigation into DCS. State Rep Afton Bain of Nashville says that she submitted 14 different...
14. Okay, so 14 cases. I doubt Sebastian's one of those, but is this like one of those dominoes that are about to fall, and can Seth kind of start to ride on this wave that's about to come? Okay, it says the same stuff we just said. 14 complaints. I'm assuming this is just this. Is this the same
The
one?
testimony from these 14 families allege systemic retaliation, allege sexual assault, allege falsified case documents from DCS workers. So we are really seeing a systemic type of corruption within DCS that needs to be intervened by the federal government.
Huh. There's corruption in there. Could there be corruption in other agencies? Wouldn't be too much of a stretch. Okay, I have to be careful the way I word that. Kind of regurgitating the same thing that we heard. Just looking. So this will be interesting, obviously. So when was this posted? This was posted today at 6:10 p.m. They're an hour ahead of me. Well, actually, technically, it's. Oh wait. So they posted it at 4 p.m., which would have been 3 p.m. my time, and 5 p.m. they updated it. So, I mean, that was only a few hours ago that they put this out, and they kind of updated it. Let's just see if there is any other stuff real quick, because I think this is totally relevant. Yes, and hopefully someone can reach out. I'm sure Seth will find out soon. Afton Ben. Oh, let me. I don't know if I want to copy this entire thing. I might just get the same report. Let's see if there's anything else with the report. So that came from Fox 17. Same. Oh, that's Hamilton. So here's Afton Ben talking about it 3 months ago, earlier this year. Oh, that's it. Ouch. That's it's not quite the article. Come on, guys, you can do better than that. Okay. So there isn't much out there now, but man, let's hope that catches some steam. Maybe some people share that on their Facebook group pages. I'm sure that'll get back to Seth. Yes, Lakeside agreed. Afton Ben. Now is that her? I'm sorry. Not
I'm Erin Jemison, and I'm running to represent you.
I'm
in
sorry,
House
I'm not
District
asking
34.
about you.
Was that good? Government should work.
Developing news tonight involving
this
the
Afton
Tennessee
Ben?
Department of Children's Services after decades of.
Hold on. Might I be smart about this? I'm sure you guys are going to answer in the chat. Representative. Oh, that is her, right? Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I thought it was, but just double checking. Yeah, that's her. Interesting. There she is. Yeah, maybe she could add to that list. I'm assuming if she's already working on 14 and she starts digging in, can Seth or whoever's helping him. Also, again, this is so out of my 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 field, but yeah, can people maybe reach out to her and say, hey, what about Sebastian's case? And go from there. Yeah, it's nice to have a little update. I mean, I know it's not technically straight up regarded to Sebastian, but that is kind of in the same field. 'Cause that kind of goes to the DCS reports, right? So, man, could you imagine, like, you got the FBI report, and then you got her. I almost want to do a separate report with the. You probably need Seth, or somebody that knows all the audio from Chris, and not what's in the report itself, but just how shady Chris was, and there are some shady things that happened that I believe Seth wasn't involved in every single when there was an incident, if I recall. So yeah, man, this could be. What are the odds? This is really interesting. That's kind of crazy timing, actually. Right. Yeah, I need to get the report. Yes. Oh, okay, you sent the email. All right. Let's finish with this. Okay, yep, I got it. Oh, okay. If this is coming from Justin, then I'm going to tell you already, I know. Oh, Crime Time Buzz. Okay. Nothing against Crime Time Buzz. I'm just saying, like. All right. And yeah, you're going to see the video that's playing too, which that doesn't surprise me either. Because this is the video that where the camera was claimed to come from. What was the timestamp? 26:22. Oh, geez. Yeah. This is it. Sorry. Okay.
And that, my friends, is the audio. And I am going to play it again for you, and show you the words that a former detective who has nothing to do with the case, isn't in the area,
I'm just like I said, I went to the source. It is at the very bottom of my list to do. If I still have those emails, of course, I'm not going to show the lady's name because, again, but I'll show a little bit of what she said. You can see, like, the second I'm like asking, I'm like, here's what I know. I have contacts on the ground in that neighborhood and have been in that command center and know kind of, I don't, never claim to know. I don't know all of the stuff, nor does all the sources we have. But again, notice how they showed this clip, which again is referring to that this came from that surveillance. And again, that surveillance did not have audio. So again. And then when I asked, like, well, because I even, like, I was super friendly. Like, I was not accusatory at all. I'm like, hey, I'm just, because she actually just emailed me, because I was just like, gonna get the audio first and like kind of listen to it and try to clean it up. And while I was doing that, all of a sudden I had like 3 emails like in a row. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? And it's all from her. And she's like, oh, I noticed you became a membership. And did you take that video from my membership? I'm like, yeah, like I'm just trying to get the original, even though like it's out there in the ether, like, but I'm just trying to get the best original that I can, just in case if it was true. And then it was just like, again, this was like over a year, it was like a year ago, so it's hard to remember the exact conversation, but it was fishy because, I explained to her, I'm like, hey, like, I know this didn't come from this camera. And then once I said that, because I'm like, I could tell you, we know it did, that camera does not have audio. It's only video. And then after that, it was, oh, well, I'm going to dox your video or, copyright your video. And I'm like, well, you can't do that because I'm just using your audio. Like, I'm not even using your video. I'm using, and it's like, and I could easily just go take Justin's, who literally played your audio for, and yeah, it got so weird so fast. And it was just like, okay, yeah, this is super sus. Like, couldn't tell me, like, if it didn't come from that camera, because I suggested, I'm like, could you have been confused and maybe it came from another camera? And yeah, it got all sorts of weird. Yeah, and again, so here's the thing, Sarah, and anybody, like, it could definitely be audio of people talking, but again, it could have came from anywhere, so is what I'm saying. Like, it could definitely be audio with people talking in it, and so maybe those translations are part true, but I'm just saying it did not come from the camera. They claimed it was, and I don't know. Like, that's all I can tell you. Like, yes, in reference back to DCSF, or DCS, however every state's different, but yeah. Yeah, I know. Like I said, it was this person. It got really weird really fast. Again, I hate to bring it up because I really feel like this individual. I don't want to say like there's something wrong with them, but I feel like they were maybe going through something or something. Like they got just really. Anyway, I'm just gonna be a broken record. It just got really. It told me enough. It's like, yeah, this is likely not coming from where they're saying it came from. And believe me, I wish if there's audio out there and if I knew it was like had some legitimacy, you guys know, damn well know, I would break it down. I'm pretty good at enhancing audio. I'm not saying I'm like an expert at it, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's one of those things that it's so like diluted that it's one of those things where you could like hear a million different things, and then depending on who, how like there's that thing, I forget what it's called, where let's say you haven't heard of audio before and I have, but you don't know, like the audio's kind of, not the best. And so I give you subtitles, right? And then while you're listening to the audio, you see the subtitles and you automatically reference those words. You connect with those words, right? Yet, if you were to listen to it without me having subtitles, you would have probably came up with other words. Does that make sense? I forget what that's called. I have a particular term for that. And so yeah, when you have people that break down audio and subtitles that are super just heavy distorted, you could come up with a bunch of stuff. And then you could easily influence new listeners with subtitles. And I wouldn't do that because, again, that's, I don't know. Now, I'm not saying like Crime Time Buzz did that because she said she got it from another person. I'm just saying, that's, that is a thing, You can obviously influence someone's decision on what they're hearing if it's not clear. Oh, you're fine, Bo. Oh, no worries. Yep, no, I appreciate you sending that just so we were clear on which audio we were talking about because you never know. There could be other audio out there. Again, I'll say this for a third time. There could definitely, I would not be surprised if there's audio out there. I can't say 100% it's Chris and Katie out, but I think there's definitely audio out there. But it's nothing that I have seen come to light. That's probably stuff that law enforcement only has. No. No, we got much more to put together. So anyway, I will end on that note. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody that sent something. Lori and Michelle, thank you so much. Oh, and I missed Mrs. T. I'll just leave it at that. Mrs. T from last time. Thank you for the Venmo. Truly helps because we're kind of at the end here. But thank you. I appreciate that, Lona. As much as I can do because after this month, I am kind of not moving away from Sebastian, but I am just covering other cases. I've got to move on. I've done what I can. And I mean, there's still, again, a lot to be released. But after that, that's kind of it for me until something happens because again, there's nothing else more to do, but hopefully we'll be able to push that report, keep Sebastian's name out there, but I'm not going to prolong it anymore. I am been working my ass off, and I mean my ass off, my bony ass in this chair that I feel like I've been glued to for the last 5 to 6 days, getting this ready, and that's it. Like, it's going out, and then let you guys have it and disperse it far and wide, and that's the best we can do. And how many other channels, not discounting other channels that have covered this, because again, not every channel has like a team that we've had to do all this, but yeah. Oh, thank you, Tammy. Yeah, I'm doing better. I am like kind of in a phase where I'm been so focused on this that like anything that's bothering me, which really hasn't been an issue this week. So knock on wood. So I've been kind of just straight up fully focused on this. But with that, Thank you to Sassy and Pocahontas. God bless you, ladies. Sticking here. Jocelyn, good to see you, sweetheart. I really appreciate it. It means a lot for you guys, diehards that are still in here, supporting me. Of course, that goes to the members. I'll try to do maybe a members live tomorrow. I kind of, be honest, I need to do like a lot of makeup lives because I'll be honest, like covering Sebastian case has not been, again, this is my job and it's dead in the water. It is dead in the water. And like for me to start covering other cases, I have to study them. And if I start studying them, that's going to take time away from finishing up this document, which is pretty much done. And then I've got to do a few things where I have to have a unedited version for the public that's a little more less restrictive for the than what's going to the FBI. But yeah. Yeah, and hopefully they can maybe again that timing of the DCHS, right? DCHS. It's so hard because every state's different. Yeah. Hopefully we can bounce off that. Maybe that's kind of a, you know, if people believe in God or things happen for a reason. Maybe that is kind of a sign that, you know, this is the time to, you know, pull out our final swing, you know, swing for the fences type thing. So, all right. Thank you to everybody that could donate. Thank you to those that did the PayPal. I really, really appreciated that. It really, really helps again because with this case really just sadly being dead in the water and it's no one's fault. It's just, you know, people are moving on to other cases and you know, the algorithm is not pushing his name out there. And yeah, it kind of sucks. Okay, Tammy, no worries. Again, I only encourage anybody that, you know, can afford it and, you know, but God bless you guys. Thank you to those that sent jewels. I've mentioned this so many times. I wish, I hope one day YouTube fixes that so I can shout you guys out. It's like they couldn't make it any smaller for those that donate through the jewel thing. It's so stupid. Thank you to the mods, Coop, Sassy, Jennifer, Jocelyn, mods. Thank you to the members again. And just repeat myself. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm not gonna do any like pet outro, like getting new pets this month because the sole thing is Sebastian, but hopefully next month we can request new pets and stuff like that. Now I'm trying to remember which outro I played. I need to label these so I know which one I played so I can kind of rotate them. I'm going to do this one for now. All right, see you guys. Maybe tomorrow I may do a regular and a members live. We'll kind of see where it goes. Okay, just checking my emails. Make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, thank you, Pocahontas. Love you too. Thank you to everybody. God bless. I got you in my sight. I can't
keep all of what you said to me. I get you, get you, get you, get you on your knees. Rewrite all the things you said that I should be. I'll get you, get you, get you. Now you'll beg me, please. Hey. Now I'll stay away. You were never meant to save me. Now I'll stay away. I'll hear you say you're sorry.
And if by chance anybody sends a PayPal or Venmo and I missed it, I will thank you in the next live. I do get some that are kind of late. You in my sight. I keep all of what you said to me. I get you, get you, get you, get you on your knees. Rewrite all the things you said that I should be. I'll get you, get you, get you. Now you beg me, please. Hey. Now I'll stay away. You were never meant to save me. Now I stay away. I'll hear you say you're sorry. Hate I even loved you. Hate I fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you. Hate I kinda fell in love with you. Thank you guys so much for being legends and amazing support.